Yeah.
This week on Crap or Craptastic, me and Ryan reviewed The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Yes. And let me just say, I've never seen a Red Band trailer for this, and
Yeah.
I thought it looks alright. Like
Well,
it
it
looks
had
fine.
zombie strippers, it had zombie cats, it has the kid
Yeah.
who played Cyclops in the new Age of Apocalypse movie
It had that one funny guy with long hair.
from some Comedy Central
Remember his
skits.
name? Workaholics. Um, God, what's his name? I can't remember his
I don't
fucking
remember.
name.
Let's not focus
But
on it too much. It doesn't matter.
yeah, it doesn't matter. But I mean, it had its points, and I kind of understand why now I waited until the
Yeah,
Amazon.
I'm glad I didn't see this in the theater. It's not a bad movie. Okay, well, it's a bad movie, but it's not an
Yeah, it's
unwatchable
a bad
movie.
movie.
Yeah, it's not an unwatchable movie. It has its moments that does make you laugh pretty hard. But for me, it doesn't. The beginning is really slow. So anybody who wants to know what this movie's about, obviously, before we dive too much into it. So basically, there's three friends who are Boy Scouts, and there's two friends who are only Boy Scouts because one of their friends' dad died, and they've been doing this since they were kids, and they wanted to be there for him, so they didn't have the heart to quit. Because this other kid is like gung ho, like super hardcore into Boy Scouts,
Yeah,
and so
like they made a movie to recruit people,
yeah,
which was
that
kind of
was
funny.
actually kind of funny. That part made me laugh. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, they have this big camp out plan where he's going to get his Super Commodore badge, and so they've decided that they're going to break it to him after he gets his badge that they're out, and they want to go to this party, and
Yeah.
it's your typical junior,
It's
senior high
zombie
school
outbreak.
stuff. Yeah, it's not. But then all of a sudden, a zombie outbreak happens, and the entire town turns to zombies while they're out camping for the night.
Well,
And then-
and the thing about these zombies, it's not like, I mean, they're the fast zombies, but they also have like a small semblance of intelligence
Well,
for
and then-
comedic purposes.
Yeah, and then there was a
essentially.
zombie who had like weird spikes coming out of his back, like bone spikes, who kind of ran like a dog.
Yeah, it was just like I think they wrote zombies to be in a group in a way that you would expect, but when they needed a specific zombie, just definitely just kind of threw everything out the window and just like, oh yeah, it'll jump through the window and start fighting him and
Well, and to move on with the movie, these kids, these three Boy Scouts end up meeting this badass stripper bartender hostess. I don't know, and
Yes.
and the four of them have to survive the zombie apocalypse and save one of the guys' big crush and save everybody and try and get out before the army nukes the entire city. So I mean that's kind of the basic premise of this movie. And on paper,
Yeah.
it sounds like a fun idea. Boy Scouts, zombies,
well,
zombie
and Boy
strippers.
Scouts like taking advantage of like their scouting knowledge.
Yeah, and,
you
well,
know,
they,
with-
and they do at the end, but I think it takes way too long to develop. For most of the movie, it didn't honestly even matter that they were in the Boy Scouts. Like, that was kind of the disappointing part of this movie for me, was that the whole point of this movie was Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, and they were in the Scouts, but it didn't really play any relevance at all until
Yeah.
the end of the movie.
till the end of the movie where they do the big fight, and then but there were like a couple of points where they kind of hinted at what's to come, like they would, like when the one kid was whittling the end of the broomstick,
Yeah.
and I mean, but they were small, like the build up took way too long and it
Yeah.
came way too late.
Well, and that was the problem. I mean, the movie's only an hour and a half, but it felt much longer. There was times when I paused the movie to check my fantasy football team, and it lost my interest early. There wasn't a lot of action. The problem is this movie isn't strong enough to stand on just a Boy Scout kind of comedy, and it's also
Mhm.
not strong enough to stand just as a zombie movie. It takes too long to build up. I will say the last half hour was entertaining as hell. It was super fun to watch. So
Yeah.
I think it's worth watching just for that. But in this, on this review, we have to give it a crap or craptastic. Either it's a good movie, it's a terrible movie that you just you definitely are dying to see, or it's just a bad movie. So, I mean, there's a few gags. There's a penis gag in here that had me cringing and laughing my ass off at the same
Yeah,
time.
and it was like,
You know, there's some funny stuff that the I don't know, the 13-year-old, the 15-year-old inner me that is always there was giggling at uncontrollably with like the zombie boobs. When they had the cop whose boobs pops out and he's like, yeah, he's squeezing him, you know, before she bites his face off. So I mean, it was it's all 11-year-old humor for, you know, for a while, and then the movie was just really weirdly paced. It was almost like PG-13 comedy, and then all of a sudden, but it would be really rated R. It was, I don't know, it's a weird mishmash. It just did not work for me.
I think for a lot of those reasons why I'm going to give it a crap rating. And I think, like you said, if I was 15 or like if I was still in high school and I saw this movie, I probably would have loved the fucking shit out of it.
The problem is I think the people who would love this movie are not old enough to watch this movie.
Yeah, essentially. Like if I was in high school and like my early college days where I was, you know, drinking and doing all the dumb shit college guys do, I mean, it's got definitely dude bro movie, you know, and I mean, I would have liked it when if I was younger, but at this point, I gotta give it a crap rating because it didn't have enough to really. I mean, if it was Zombieland funny, I mean that's a totally different movie.
And I think Zombieland and Shaun of the Dead have set the bar for comedy zombie movies. And even though this one I knew wasn't going to be as good as either one of those, it just wasn't. The first half wasn't that funny. And while it's building up to the big action piece at the end and the big zombie murder spree, it doesn't have enough laughs to make it work up until that point. So I'm with you. I didn't hate this movie, but it's not good enough to give it a craptastic. I'm going to give this a very much a crap rating. I will say this. I think it's worth a watch. It's not craptastic, but it's, you know, if it's on and you got nothing better to do and you want to play it as background until the end, I would recommend watching it. There are some fun parts.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to watch it. Just having it back, so you're at least hearing what's going on, and then just watch like the last 30 minutes, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. And I mean, I will say this: at the very end, they do a little montage of where these characters are now, and that was actually entertaining. I actually gave a shit a little bit about what happened to them.
I watched the whole one.
But it's, anyway, crap. I think me and Ryan, like I said, we were both in agreement. This movie is, unfortunately, it's crap. We both really wanted to like it, and we just didn't.
It's crap, but it's worth a watch if you got nothing else to do, and you can skip the first hour.
You might really enjoy it, really wasted.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But it's streaming for free right now on Amazon, so check it out.